I was raised on the idea that the West mattered, that its values were admirable, its achievements extraordinary. But today it has become fashionable to attack the West, to claim the West's achievements are commonplace, while its crimes are unique, that the freest, most open, healthiest and wealthiest societies in human history are pits of systemic oppression. Instead of defending our heritage, we are told, the great task of our time is to tear everything down. In the 1980s, President Reagan and Mrs. Thatcher used the West as a rallying cry to help our free societies find the moral courage to stand firm against Soviet communism. But something has changed.
20 years ago we thought the Cold War was over and that the liberal West was secure, and to quote Francis Fukuyama's ill-fated remark about the end of history, capital E, the end. Sadly, that's no longer the case, and we now have to be careful to defend what we have in the West.
So the silver lining of the Cold War was that we knew what we didn't want. It was very clear that we didn't want to be like the Soviet Union. We didn't want to be like Romania. We certainly didn't want to be like Albania or the Cultural Revolution in China. We didn't want any of those things. So we knew what we didn't want, and it strengthened the idea of the West because we could see the opposite. We could see how our values were destroyed and how we really wouldn't want that. And that was, in a way, the value of it. And the danger now that we do not have a Cold War, although we arguably have some substitutes for it, the danger now is that we cease to understand or value what it is good about the West.
Well, the great controversy that kicked off America's culture war, in a sense, was the battle over Stanford's required course in Western civilization. This was actually the most popular course at Stanford, and it was attacked in 1987, 1988 by the forces of multiculturalism, what we would now call the woke. And at first they didn't make much headway because this was, in fact, the most popular course. Students loved it, students defended it. But as the battle played out, the forces of multiculturalism started hurling accusations of racism. And so at that point, the balance shifted and the course in Western civilization was eliminated, at least as a requirement, and a multicultural course was put in its place. So as people have ceased to study the West, we have lost the understanding of the importance of, say, free speech. Free speech is really something without which Western liberal democracy cannot exist. And free speech is under attack at the very same moment that we have ceased to study and appreciate the West. Is this a coincidence? No, not at all.